peace, love. Listen, follow the Patreon, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Listen, we dropping knowledge, right? That's going to change lives forever. You're not gangster till you healing yourself. And then that healing that you're doing internally starts to manifest subconsciously because you've lost all emotional attachment to everything concerning aspects of healing. You just do this subconsciously. So let's talk about communication, right? You know, I was talking to my lady earlier, right? And I was having such a beautiful conversation. And you know me, I was like, I'm going to hit the record. When I said that, she was like, oh, you mean right now? And I think I wasn't so focused on, I don't think I was fully on board with doing it. So I manifested an aspect where when she said that, I said, oh, it's okay if you don't want to do it, right? Here goes the God timing, and this is how you can use your powers in a bad way, genuinely. If you're 50-50, you have to find yourself before you do things. So this manifested a beautiful debate within aspects of communication. And you know, she's sitting down healing, genuinely taking a beautiful shower, just pouring into her at the moment, as I pour into me, as we learn from it. We're both learning how to communicate. And one thing I understood for myself, and I'm going to hold myself accountable, is as men, before you express something, you should be clear on it. If you're not sure on it and you don't know how to create it in a receptive way to the parties involved, take a minute, take a deep breath, and just chill. It will come to you. Lose your emotional attachment to that impulsive aspect of trying to manifest your enthusiasm on a public aspect when you haven't fully found the percentage that you're looking for, or you're not fully concrete on the thought. So, I hold my accountability for that. I check on her in a few, genuinely. Once again, we got to care about each other. And that brings me into my topic. My topic is better communication. And as you know, when it comes to speaking about these things, right, I use myself as the testing. So I want you to understand, as positive as I may seem, you got to understand, or as positive as you may be, you have to understand accepting negative is that's what a positive experience it is. That's how you create positive, by accepting negative. That's how you'll be open to positive understandings and solutions. You can't get to the positive if you're not accepting the negative. So you have to sit, accept. Like, better communication starts with accepting negatives. So when you're communicating, you got to understand that there's going to be moments where the communication is flawed, because good communication and growth comes from you actually taking part in this, you actually practicing. So you ever heard that saying, practice makes perfect? You got to understand that you have to practice this. You have to make mistakes. But within making those mistakes, you need to understand that failure is transient. I'm going to take a puff of that. Failure is transient. What does transient mean? It's temporary. The only way to understand this is you have to go through it. You have to. And that's how I got where I'm at today. You have to go through these understandings. You must see the perspective of, in order to gain success, you have to become better at failing, because every success story comes with failure. Excuse me. Every success story comes with failure. So when you look at aspects like the Kabbalion, right? Take a deep breath. As I breathe, you breathe too, if you want to. As you take a look into the Kabbalion, they talk about aspects such as polarity, right? When you look at polarity, polarity states that everything has two sides, two opposites, two poles, just two aspects, right? So you have to understand that success is, let me turn my brightness up again because this phone do what it want. So you have to understand, right, that when it comes to dealing with, where was I? It's cool. I want to give you authentic me. So we're not even editing this. This is just straightforward. When it comes to understanding polarity, you have to understand, I think this is where I was at. Success comes with failures. Winning comes with losses. Positive comes with negative. You need to understand the polarity and you need to accept that. That's where we're at right now. Accepting polarity for what it is, right? You live in two realms. You have a physical realm, spiritual realm, and a mental realm. And you have to understand that the universe is mental. Once you start understanding that the more you want to create better communication, is the better you become at it. Now you understand that practice creates perfect. It creates perfection. Perfection actually, let's say perfection is a zone where you're just casual with your truth of being yourself. We'll call it supra casual truth. When you're at a space, when you've accepted that these old frequencies and old entities that I have, they're bad habits or they're habits, you're just understanding, okay, these are things that I learned. Good communication is not something that we learned. From my perspective, I'll speak for me. I knew I grew up not really understanding how to communicate well, to the point when I got older and I decided to participate in a relationship, it was very hard for me to not get frustrated when I thought or when I didn't get what was expected. So I'll say something and it's like I had this weird ass thought, very, very egotistical, where it was like, you should understand me. You should understand what I'm thinking. We're close. We've had more understandings than we didn't. But in reality, here's the understanding. You're gonna have some miscommunication when going through communication and bettering your communication. Your main goal is focusing on this key detail. I am a lot further than I ever been. I should not be blaming myself for failures. Please don't. The more you sit down there and blame yourself for failures, the more you sit down there and try to manifest what you desire, you have to understand things always happen different within this reality. Everything is energy. You may have gotten what you wanted, but men are not ruined by things. They're ruined by their perception of it. So now you have to look at how you're looking at things, right? Now, as you start to understand, okay, cool. As I manifest beautiful communication and miscommunication comes with it, but now comparison is the thief of joy. I like to use this trick a lot. So let's just say, for example, I'm in a space where I feel like I didn't communicate right. I'm going to compare that to a time that I did. So if comparison is the thief of joy, if your intent behind it is positive, what you're doing now is comparing the negative. You accept it first. You compare that negative to a positive. Obviously, based on the Kabbalion, mastery is not, it doesn't come from abnormal visions or fantasies. It comes from putting higher over lower. That's the Kabbalion. Check the Kabbalion. So when you do that intentionally, now you're taking joy away from that negative. You understand what I'm saying? Take that in. The whole goal is to become a better communicator, but you cannot become something you don't see yourself being. Take that in. You cannot become something you don't see yourself being. So over time, as you go through these flaws and your versions of mistakes, when it comes to you trying to understand how to communicate better, not only are you educating yourself, there's a beautiful book called People Skills, because we've gotten good at peopling, but we haven't gotten good at people skills. So you have to begin to people with some aspect of skill. You're taking part in existing with multiple entities, not only in you, but in others. So your whole goal is to just breathe. Patience is adaptive. Another key to thoughtful and perfect communication, and as I tell you this, I'm learning from myself. Another key to it is this: patience. Patience. Okay? As you take time to understand patience,